Motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Motion has been made to approve the minutes of the August 23rd minutes.
Agenda.
It is, that's what I was thinking, agenda. Sorry about that. All in favor, say aye. September agenda then, that's right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
A little backwards, forgot about the discussion, but okay, let's approve the minutes of August 6th, 23.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and second to approve the minutes of August 6th, 23. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We have a public hearing.
We have public hearing for two subjects. John Anderson had another conflicting meeting, so he asked me to handle it for tonight. So I'll be pinch hitting and hopefully I do a good enough job here. So the public hearing tonight covers two topics related to a proposed building to be constructed on a site. It's not in city limits. It's located on Highway 25 north of town here. But with the agreement with Watertown Township, we do have zoning control and building authority in this area under the annexation agreement. So that's why you're seeing it before you. So this property is located, get over to. So this is the property in question, located north of the Fieldstone development, just up the road here. And the building would be going inside here. They're looking to construct a detached accessory building, 40 feet by 80 feet in size for 4,800 square feet total. Looking to have it 100 or so feet off the line, the front property line. They're looking to also utilize, there's an access right here, a farm access. Have that turned into their driveway. That does need to go through MnDOT review on that.
It says 60 feet on my.
60 by 80, sorry. 60 by 80. 60 by 80 shed for 4,800 square feet. There's no concern with the size of the building or necessarily a placement with setbacks. For the public hearing tonight, there were two topics to be reviewed upon, which was one, the height of the building, and two, the total, the surface area of the signage they'd like to put up. So to get into that in proper, in the agricultural zoning district, and John and I had a conversation about this earlier today, about the applicability of the 17-foot height restriction. So for the front yard setback, it's all 50 feet, and then the maximum height in the agricultural district is 50 feet. And where the 17 feet came into play was an interpretation of the zoning code 152.030 here for accessory structures. And down at the bottom, you can see this is where the height one, number 7 under A, which is no accessory building or structure shall exceed 17 feet in height. However, in talking with John, the height requirement came more as a secondary to the sign. We were already going to have the variance public hearing for the signage, so he thought throwing in the height one just to cover bases would be a good play. If you read section A, which is a start, which is which height it under, it says accessory buildings and structures in residential districts shall be subject to the following guidelines, and that's where the height comes into play. So looking at this, the big one that's tonight is the sign one. The secondary is the height on the building itself. Just want to give a little bit more background information on the coding of that 17 feet. So for the sign, based upon the square footage of the lot that they're proposing to put on, they can have up to 48 square feet of total sign surface. However, no one individual sign can be more than 12 square feet. So they could have 4 12 square foot signs on the property. What they're asking for is instead of having 4 individual ones, they have one 4 by 8, which is still under the 48 total square foot of any one sign. Do you know how far off?
I was hoping to put like a gate, you know, like 75 feet off the road. I was just gonna put it by the gate, just so.
Yeah. So
Nothing right up.
You know how far off the road the easement is at your place there? The highway easement, the ditch and all that? Do you know how much, how far that is from your property or not?
I think John was telling me, I believe it was 50. It was 50.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
So 25 feet beyond that yet?
Yeah. So if I swing my gate, at least I can swing it both directions.
So the gates would swing out that much anyway.
Yeah, just in case I, for whatever reason.
What, are you like,
Going uphill,
you're gonna have like
I
a,
swing it
you're
down.
gonna have like a 50-foot gate or what? Or
What?
How big is your gate gonna be?
No, I just 125.
Okay.
You swing it, or 120 here. I don't know how big they make, maybe a 16, 216. Something. Just 'cause I won't be able to see
Wondering,
the
just
shed from the
wondering.
house. I just, be nice to shut it just in case, you know, I won't be able to really, with all the woods, I won't be able to really see.
I was just wondering the swing going into the
Oh, yeah, yeah,
highway easement.
yeah, for sure. I have to make sure.
So that's the request on the signage end, and then for the structure itself, the total structure height would be 28 feet tall. They're looking to have 16-foot doors, so they can get equipment in and out. So the total at the peak would be 28 feet total. 14-foot doors for 28 total, sorry. So those are the two items that the public hearing are for, so I'd recommend we receive public input regarding the height or the signage for the proposed variance request.
Open a public hearing, is that what you're saying?
Correct.
You want separate ones?
Yeah, open the public hearing, then close it.
Okay. Okay, we'll open the public hearing on the height and the signage at the same time. For the,
So it's open?
Yep.
Okay. Chris Hazy, I'm here to represent my mother, Mary Ann Hazy.
Oh.
So she owns land directly to the south and southeast of the property. I do have some reservations about the height of the building. I know the progress that Mayor would like to see would be more residential, heading towards Highway 7. And I just don't want this to impede my ability to find a buyer or get the right price with a buyer. 20-foot tall shed is pretty high. So that would be my one concern, is I just wouldn't want that to affect that in any way.
okay. What, is this gonna be a business or personal?
But keep my dump truck, I do like sewer water, septic. Just kind of doing it, yeah, I just want
Okay,
Backhoe and stuff like that?
I got an excavator, and that's why I want that 14-foot door, so I can keep it on the trailer. Like, I have a shop in Monticello, I've had a shop in Corcoran too, and I've always been able to construct it, keep it tidy, have that.
Yeah.
Always done it.
So you're concerned about the height of the building because of land, the value of your land? Or
Correct. I'd be looking to sell the remainder of our land as residential, and then obviously that would be developed at some point. There would be more homes, whether it's single family or multiple family, whatever it's decided. But
So
obviously that's gonna be out somebody's backyards, would be my guess.
similar to the boat sheds is what you're looking at?
Yeah, but just, if I could add, the property is gonna be future zone for commercial, high density and medium density. That, the parcel that I bought, so there is a commercial aspect to that parcel in the future, of the 2040 plans that you guys have proposed through there. I'm trying to stay
That's
within
true.
that.
That's
realm.
okay.
That red is all commercial.
Red is commercial, the brown is high-density residential.
Yeah, so that'd be like apartment buildings you guys have proposed currently.
Mhm.
There in the future that I don't necessarily hope comes in my lifetime, but if it does, it does.
Well, that's
Just
kind
gonna
of,
live my life.
You're
out
pretty
there.
young, I think it's gonna come.
Maybe.
what-
Hopefully not.
Well, you
what
see it
I'm
all
looking
over,
at
even
is
downtown.
remarks,
Apartments.
Yep, yep, yep.
you know, as far as
Yeah,
a lifetime.
yeah.
But anyway, I'm probably thinking it probably take, what, 35, 40 years to get out there, if not more.
That far out? Probably.
Considering the other additions we have in the city,
Yeah, it's-
in the city at the time.
We still have Coldwater Crossing, that's been the main development. We'll probably have 9th and 10th going on there. Probably see Hidden Creek West eventually develop as well. In my estimate, I don't have a crystal ball, can't say any of
Right.
that. But I'd say my estimation, Coldwater, Hidden Creek, and Fieldstone to the east, a bit to the north. You'd see BC developing first, and then you'd a long ways before you'd see some developing way out that far. Not way out, it's
Sure, yeah,
not way out.
I did, yeah. I didn't know it was even in the city limits when I bought it, I was like, oh.
Like, you're not in the city
No,
limit.
I just didn't know I had any of this.
Yeah.
Well, I think I talked to John. We were like all set up through Carter County and everything was about to go and John was like, whoa, don't fill any of that up. And I'm like, oh.
Under the annexation agreement we have with the township, we get zoning control. Otherwise, if it just confined the city limits, yeah, I'd be dealing with Carver County.
Yeah, and they were all on board. And then, but clearly they weren't.
So where are you at now? Where do you have your equipment now?
Monticello,
Monticello?
yeah, right outside of, right on Pelican, Lake Pelican. Right outside Hallandale.
Oh, you're coming out of ways.
My grandpa had a farm just on the other side of 7.
Who was that? Who was that?
I'm sorry,
Who was that?
Hedges, Laverne Hedges. My dad grew up rodeoing out here. As people.
Is there a Henches right here on 25 or not? Right down the street? That's Henshin, I think.
Pension.
Huh?
Pension, yeah. Pension.
Not sure.
Well, just for for visualizing,
I've been here a while, that's why I'm wondering.
Oh,
for visualizing what 17 feet looks like, I think R&V's building 12-foot sidewalls. It must be a 5-foot peak, but that's pretty small peak. What do you think, Bob's? Is that another 10 feet to make 28-foot building? Just roughly what you're visualizing to, I know things are written down, but
Yeah, I always need a visualization.
I mean, the building across the street, I know has 14-foot doors. That building just to the west, that has 14-foot doors. That's a 28-foot tall building.
okay. So what he has is a contractor yard.
Yeah.
Is how does that fit in, or doesn't it, or can't you do that in a town type of where we have control, or what? I don't know.
West side is Carver County, east side 25 is us.
It's like just like that little chunk that is the reason we're here.
So,
Can you point out where his mom's land is, just so I can visually?
Yeah, in the lower corner
Okay.
with a loop driveway.
Okay, and so the
Very
home
lower.
just sold, correct?
Yes, I just sold her home, a few months ago,
Okay,
the 3.5 acres. And so then that's the actual farm property, and then there's another parcel to the right, as well.
okay.
Right.
And
still yours too?
And then there's another one down lower to the left that's already annexed into the city. That's the part that's left of the annexation.
Yeah.
how much of that is the floodplain? Like, I know we already went through this 2040 comp plan.
I don't think there's too
There's a
much
map-
floodplain
there's a map
in
there.
the, like 86 acre portion where the farm is. I think more of it's like to the right of that.
There's your floodplains. Man, GIS layers are just, they're great.
So
You're just on the edge.
we wouldn't build a neighborhood necessarily in a floodplain, would you? Or can you? I mean, I guess you can, but then you'd have to get flood insurance.
So you are on that,
Really long answer.
And it doesn't flood there. I mean, I couldn't tell you last time it actually flooded there.
65.
it gets high.
It's
Yeah,
six-
it needs to just be corrected.
65 and 69.
Right. Oh, to like have it readjusted because it's,
65 and 69, I saw it.
Yeah, it's been quite some time. Yeah. I wasn't.
But
I
it,
wasn't
but
here
it
then.
did, but it did.
It did. No, absolutely.
So you're kind of in that middle of the lot line, you might say. That's where you want it, right in that area.
I want to go up there, yeah, just so it's as close to my house as I can, so I'm not.
Nobody's gonna build around them
So
anyway.
John had the, I'll get to it here. So that's the
Well, that wasn't, yeah.
A use permit.
Allowable, John says allowable use. If it's an allowable use and there's no permit required.
Chris, would you say it's quite a distance away?
So we're at-
Would you say that's quite a distance away from where you'd be building houses? or-
It's, but, yeah, I mean, it's, I'm trying to think how many feet. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Quarter mile.
Yeah, to that point.
Yeah, because then you've got that little tributary that comes in between you and your house. I don't know what it's called. It's
Yeah.
pretty much like a little creek that's run off from the river. Creek.
Roughly 830 feet from the property line.
It's,
How much?
830.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and then across the road is, well, and just a little bit, there's a big shed next to a home. That one, and even like the next property up. And you can see both of those from the road.
What's your minimum pitch on that roof?
Yeah, what was gonna be your, pardon me?
What's the pitch you got on your shed now?
At home,
No, on that one you want to build.
412.
412?
Yeah.
Can it be less?
So, it's bad, 60 foot. With the snow blower, that's small. I mean, they would, yeah.
Because of the rafters.
Correct.
The roof.
412 probably looks better. I know of a steel building that's 70 feet and it's actually less, but it looks better to have a little more roof on it.
What's yours got?
Over there,
No, yours.
here, I think this is like at home 412. But in Norwood, it's a little bit less and it looks not right. So,
Like structural steel, but like,
Yeah, then you could manage it then, but now you can't with wood.
yeah, and like, honestly, if like, if the development does go to next door, I don't wanna have $400,000 in a shed, that I just wanna tear it down. And get in line with every, neighbors and start developing. I mean, I ain't gonna fight it. I don't wanna put much money into.
You know about what a building the lifespan of a building like that is? You're gonna bury posts, right?
I want, I have helical piers too, so I was gonna actually put it on helical piers. So,
So you're gonna have slab on piers?
yeah, so I was just gonna do 10-foot piers, instead of having my 4-foot, 5-foot footing, and then, yeah, no, like my last building, we just poured it, and I used a bracket, and then we had my builder set the post on the bracket, so that way the wood's not rotting, like not sitting in the moisture.
So they're not gonna be underground?
I don't think so. I don't think I'm gonna do it that way. I'm gonna use my piers on this one, just in case I do, for whatever reason, one day commercial is the north side and maybe it made sense to have someone just move the building. Or, I mean, I assume my building will be in the commercial spot, in
Yeah.
the future. But if I needed to shift it to the other
Yeah.
side of the creek,
Plus, there's added a lifespan on the building like that, right? Whereas if you got buried,
yeah.
post building,
Yeah.
I mean, they do rot. But-
Yeah.
But I don't know what the life of that is. Do you know what it is?
Well, I've been told it's like 30 to 40 years before you have to either.
Because I'm thinking about these boat sheds here, with the lifespan, because that's what they did there.
Yeah, I mean, they say if it's like, you don't have like the livestock in there, and then it lasts significantly longer if you have good drainage around it, like a lot of people are starting to build drainage around their buildings, so that way
Okay,
there's not so much moisture, that it seems to be lasting longer, but
40,
yeah, for sure. And I mean, they're repairable, I mean, we go in there, we've done before, we just cut it off, and screw up here and good to go.
I don't know, I hate to restrict somebody from having a business because of the height of a roof in there. There's so many people now that are living off the government, I'd sooner have somebody paying in the government. I hate to restrict somebody from doing that because of the height of maybe what are you talking about, 3 feet extra high roof?
11. 17 and then to 28.
11-foot extra height on the roof. That probably won't be visible after the trees are grown and stuff and around it.
I am gonna leave it. So I'm not gonna just, I'm trying to keep it as minimal footprint as possible because I like to keep all that crop. going.
Yeah,
I'm hoping like when the corn's up every other
you
year.
cropping with Ron or who?
Whoever, I
Oh, you don't yet. You
I
don't
don't
know
even know.
yet. You don't know yet,
I
okay.
think, I know like Carl Olson, so I was gonna reach out to him and see if he wanted to, or whoever neighboring is, whoever, or I just friends with Carl's cousins.
Okay. None of my business.
Oh, yeah, I just, whoever, anybody, I'm not. I sure wanna see it keep being farmed.
Okay, should we close the hearing and talk about it?
Mhm.
We now close the public hearing. Any discussion, fellers and fellettes?
I think the building is still quite a distance from your mom's property, that I don't foresee it necessarily being, because you would still be able to see the building from the current edge of Fieldstone as well. And the two homes on the opposite side of 25 have tall buildings as well, or sheds. I don't know what they're how tall like those properties are, but
They surrounded by trees.
well, you can see them from the road. The first one you cannot. The second one you can. You can see the house and the shed from the road. I'm kind of with Les. I don't want to limit
But-
someone from who purchased property that, and we just have
But even Victoria, like Hartman must have some tall buildings close. Then Victoria would be totally developed. I don't know, but where his stuff is, it's not too tall. I didn't really read this that close, but I mean, there's people that want 24 sidewalls and racking. I thought that was that. And pallet racking and stuff like that so it's kind of moderate, you might say. It's still over, but that's why we can control it, I guess. If somebody came in, wanted really high sidewalls, I'm just saying 12. I think there is some of that 20.
Nick, the revisor that you pulled up, the ordinance or whatever we had, that was just for residential? There wasn't any, do we have anything on what the commercial zoning, since the area that it is would be commercial?
There you go.
Yeah, and I screwed up this somehow. It's really zoomed in and I have no idea what I just did. So I apologize, all that talk about being good with tech.
Spoke too soon?
There it is.
Spoke too soon.
Hey, all right. Fixed. So yeah, this, I question the applicability of the 17-foot rule to the agricultural district. The 17-foot rule does not appear in the agricultural district specific. Where John got it from was this section.
Which you read before applies to residential districts
Yes.
in A. I was just wondering if we had, and if we can't find it, if there was a restriction on height that would be applicable for commercial. Because I believe the portion of his property, I know it's a patchwork of future zoning uses, but predominantly it is commercial.
So for that, speaking on that specific,
Yep.
that's future zoning, and the day and age when that is
Yep.
partitioned out, we would use zoning rules for that area.
Mhm.
For today, we use agricultural
Okay.
zoning rules because that's what it is currently zoned as.
From that point of view, yeah, I agree that I'm not looking to apply residential zoning to agricultural land. But I was even forecasting this, I mean, I get that it'll be visible from residential, but so is everything else in the area. Even future, it would be commercial, and I doubt commercial has a restriction to 17 feet.
And
We'd be wanting bigger buildings.
John's rationale was we had to have a variance tonight for the sign process.
Right.
And he felt that since we were having the variance process for the sign, he said, let's throw in
Mhm.
the one for the height just in case, just to cover all the bases type of thing. I think if push came to shove and the sign wasn't in question, I don't know if we'd be here talking about the height of the structure.
Okay.
I think we can say which way we're leaning on the maximum height, but are we covering the sign? How's that getting taken care of?
So that's a determination. So one, we're gonna need two motions for recommendations, one for the sign, one for the height
Separately?
separately on this. So for the signage, the variance request is to go above the 12-foot 4x3 to 8x4. And that's still under the maximum allowed of the 48, but the way the wording in the agricultural section is regarding signage, you can have up to 48 square feet, but you can only have, any one sign can only be 12 square feet. So they could have 4 12 square foot signs.
Space between them.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to.
It's really odd wording.
How tall can the sign be?
So 12 square feet.
I mean, up in the air.
They don't even have a limit on it.
I don't think there's a lit on that. I assume it's gonna be like on an
I literally just want to put it on the fence.
8-foot
in case.
post and,
I got like a place out of St. Cloud that brings one man van. I don't run to get my parts, I just have delivered. And I just know moving out here that they're gonna be driving to someone else's place or coming down my driveway, and that driveway ain't gonna. I don't want all my.
Your
parts
residential
outside.
driveway is not.
I'm dropping off at my mom's farm.
They
You're
might-
like, hey, shit's over here again.
Yeah, you might have some septic alarms and a couple sticks of pipe or some water line laying in your driveway, and I'm like, oh, I need a sign. And then I thought was like, asked my sign lady, I was like, how big's 12 square feet? She's like, it's not gonna work unless you're gonna do 2 of them. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I'll just see if I can. Yeah, just something that's just very professional. Makes sense. Just nothing crazy.
It's not gonna be like this crazy like neon lit sign that's gonna be like flashing at night and.
No, I'm
kidding.
pretty. Yeah, I don't like do much advertising. This
Something anti-political on it.
Absolutely not. No, I just want to be
Not good for business.
straight. Just kind of moved out here to be kind of left alone and stay away from all the,
Chris, I know you had comment about the height. Did you have any concerns about signage or was it a package deal?
No, it's good, yeah. It's-
Okay.
yeah, that's-
So since you're the only public comment we got, so I just wanted to.
Yeah, anybody else? Oh, no, it's me. Not white, yeah. Sorry, I'm showing neighbor.
No, it's okay. No, people have questions. I get it. I have questions too. We had
Here to do
solar-
my job, so.
No, I get it. I had a solar farm moved in next door and it was kind of a whole same thing. I wasn't for it, That one went right up to the back door, so that wasn't ideal.
I make a motion to approve the variance, the sign on the variance on the sign. Part of the sign.
so John's recommendations, I'd say for the variance process, he had some conditions that he wanted applied to one or both. For the variance, there was a variance expiration. So condition 1 would be variance shall become void 1 year after the approval date if the applicant has not commenced construction on the improvement unless an extension is granted by the city council. 2, engineering review, the applicant shall be required to satisfy the comments by the city engineer in an email dated August 24th. The 3 in there are the existing approach appears to be proposed as access to the building site. If this access is to be modified, a more detailed plan should be provided to indicate how modifications are to be achieved. Perimeter erosion control should be installed by the contractor and inspected by the city. And then a Carver County Watershed Management Organization permit may be required. A copy of the permit, if required, should be provided prior to any work. Number 3, MnDOT permit, MnDOT review and permit. Plans have been submitted to MnDOT. Any comments received by minutes shall be satisfied as part of this approval. It is expected that comments will be received by MnDOT sometime after the Planning Commission and/or City Council meeting. So he just wants to be sure those comments are part of this approval, even if they come after the fact. The applicant shall be responsible for the acquisition of a driveway permit from MinDOT at the applicant's expense. 4, the appropriate building permit shall be approved and issued by the city prior to any work commencing. So those were the 4 conditions to be placed on the variance, regardless of sign or height.
Make that motion with the conditions.
I'll second Les's motion to approve the variance with subject to the listed conditions.
Motion's been made in second to approve the variance. Was that of the sign you were talking about? I'm sorry. Yes, that's what I thought I heard. And the conditions be met. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The only thing I have on the building part of it is generally we have a drawing or a print of what the building is gonna look like. And
So this variance has nothing to do with the design.
it does not.
This is just on
Just the
height.
Okay. So I make a motion then to approve the variance for the height of the building with the conditions that are added by whom, the engineer and John's recommendations.
I'll second.
Motion's been made in second on the building height and to meet conditions. Any discussion?
I just want to acknowledge your note about future residential. I think for me, just knowing that even now, a lot of the edges of our developments, you can see tall agricultural buildings or things like that too, that I don't know if that's necessarily going to hinder future growth of that. And even then, the next section would be commercial if we did go with the 2040 plan. That's just. So I wasn't overly concerned about that, but I do acknowledge that I could see that could be an issue. But even if you look across the street and there are some without really tall trees, you can still see it from the road.
A building across the street that's probably as high as his building would be, but his building's on a hill.
Yeah.
But even at that, it probably is as high as his would be, or even higher.
It'll be nice with the building. I just skimmed on the paint.
What color,
It can be painted.
what color purple is it gonna be?
The company's color.
It's a black building with like a copper roof.
Well, it's gonna be hot, man. You gotta insulate it.
It's the only time I spend is in the winter. I want it-
Well, then it'll be warm.
Yep. Pretty heat in the winter.
The motion's been made in second. Discussion has been discussed. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all for coming.
Yeah.
Hope you're successful in your business.
Good seeing you, Chris.
Yeah, you do. Been a while. I probably thought I died or something. So,
Actually, I've never seen him.
You've never seen
like
him.
it goes, yeah. Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
He's hiding behind that beard. I didn't recognize you.
It's a little late too. Like, I'll get freaking old.
Were you at home all the time, or where were you?
No, I lived everywhere else but here. So, yeah. Sorry, Mayor.
It's all right.
No, I was just wondering.
Taxes too high?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen
No, I
him.
live in New Prague and that's Scott County, so, yeah, they're high enough there.
Yeah.
Probably better here.
Good seeing you.
Yeah, you too. Pleasure. Take care.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I'm sure we'll be around.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
No, it's
Just
okay.
gotta do my due
No,
diligence,
I
so.
appreciate it. We'll be good neighbors. Absolutely. Cool.
Take care.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah, thank you.
Good for the free storage.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
I
coming.
do. We got 2 little boys.
Oh, okay.
We got a 5 and a 3.
Oh, then you got hired men already.
Hopefully, one day.
Oh, yeah, the oldest one loves to run the equipment.
Yeah, he plows the driveway at 5. And so
Is
the skid loader, yeah, we got like the little,
Yeah,
the smaller skid loaders.
Yeah.
This thing's on.
can't beat that.
Yeah, so, yeah,
Yeah.
we're pretty
Yeah, we
excited.
could turn it on.
When you gonna figure you're gonna be,
We're hoping as soon as possible. We bought it with some tenants in there that are out at the end of the month. So then
I
we're.
mean, your construction, when
Construction on the shed, hopefully when the crop's out. Hopefully by November, I can have it up. But we gotta, hopefully we're moved in by sometime in winter. As soon as possible, we gotta.
So Commissioner Hahn and guest, not to jump in, but if we want to move to the last two items so we can adjourn the meeting, then we can get together and talk all we want afterwards.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Number 5, next meeting as scheduled.
Yeah, so we'll get the next one scheduled whenever we need to. Seems how it tends to be.
Yeah. I don't have a calendar, but August, September, October.
usually when they're scheduled, they're not in.
I'll,
He'll let you know. if
Yeah.
there's a-
as needed, as needed.
Yeah, it
We-
seems like over a month ago as we had the August one. It just seems like it was 2 months, like we skipped one. Because somebody would ask me, I said, we skipped last month. Thought we did, but it says right here we had one. Okay, so that's that. Commissioners report. Should we spend like 2 minutes on the creamery? Not more than 2 minutes? Just like there's anything you heard or
Real,
if the roof went down another 3 inches or something?
I've been in there since then. I assume it hasn't gone up.
Okay.
So at this next council meeting, we're going to be bringing action for city council. We received our inspection report on the building from the building inspector, and as expected, it's pretty bad. So we've put together, the city attorney put together documents to be approved by the city council, which declares it blighted and abandoned. And it will then order the property owner to either make necessary repairs, which would be to fix the roof and repair the exterior. New doors, new windows, get everything up to snuff. And then if that is not done within 30 or 60 days, then we would go for court approval to have it raised on the property owner's behalf, which would likely take place next spring. Raising is a word that means burn down.
There you
That's the quick update on the creamery building.
go. Anything else happening around that was commissioners report? Anything that you see?
Nothing to report.
Your neighbors are all working fine and not doing anything they're not supposed to do. That's great. Number 7, anybody want to comment on that?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.